how do we define success? And possibly more importantly, how do you measure success? Can you measure success? Deep down, people want to live meaningful lives. And to do so, it's helpful for us to understand what success really is. But before we do, we need to set aside all those perceptions of what we think success looks like. Because frankly, they're a distraction. And with a clean slate, let's go back and understand what success is, especially from God's perspective. And the definition of success is achieving an aim or purpose, which fits perfectly. Because my definition of success is fulfilling the unique calling and purpose that each one of God's people has. That as we live out that unique life and function in the gifts and calling He put on us, then we are a success. Now, we also need to recognize, though, God doesn't do anything randomly, and especially with His people. That He thought about each one of us from the foundation of the earth when He carefully designed each one uniquely with their own special gifts and attributes. So success is us living that out. But can you measure it? Well, interestingly, in Romans 12, now I'm going to take this from the Living Bible, but Paul says that each one should estimate their value in proportion to the faith that God has given them. In other words, we look at ourselves based on the measure, the proportion of faith God's given us, which doesn't necessarily sound any easier, like, okay, how do we do that? Well, let's keep going. Because he goes on and talks about how we're all unique. We're all different parts with different gifts, different special abilities that benefit the world around us. And one of the things he says is that he says, applying faith, the measure of faith that you have to that gifting that you have. So success is living out that calling and purpose that God has ordained for your life before the foundation of the earth. But measuring it is how we apply our faith. And here's what's interesting. He never discusses the results. In other words, we don't talk about what is achieved, but he talks about applying faith to the operating in that gift and that calling. In other words, success is us applying faith to that unique ability, gift, calling that He's put on each one of us. And actually, we leave the results to Him. We know that He said that one plants, another waters, but God gives the increase. The results are in His hands. Success for you and I is living out that calling and purpose, and we measure it by evaluating the amount of faith we're applying to that gift and calling. Something to think about.